Yes, people, welcome back to Let's Talk Premier League. It's Friday night, it's 8 p.m, it's the Liverpool show. It's been one interesting week, I'll put it this way. I can't wait for this. Daniel saying, like, subscribe and share, people. Here, Liverpool fans rant. Yes, you're going to hear some ranting, I fear. Craig saying, what panel this week? What a trio that is. There's one more to come. He's running a bit late. Sonny will be here in a bit. But how are we all doing, guys?
Good, thanks.
Shit, because we didn't win.
Absolutely splendid, boys. Absolutely splendid. I'm here for the quiz crown. No other mission. This is why I'm here. I'm here for it, boys.
Screw the Premier League. Screw the Champions League. It's just this week's quiz edition that everyone's after. But yeah, we have to start. We'll start with Saturday. We'll start with something relatively upbeat before we then bring it down a few levels. We'll start with the 3-0 against Arsenal. Gini, what were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, emphatic win. It looked like the shadow from old. Not fully there, but obviously Wednesday showed that it wasn't to continue. But Tuesday, sorry, not Wednesday. But yeah, just on Arsenal, fantastic win. It was a very poor Arsenal side, but you know you got to be what's in front of you, and we did. I thought Trent was superb. Fabinho was my man of the match. Thiago, very impressive. Jota, when he come on, looked brilliant. Yeah, I thought we were superb against Arsenal.
Yeah, that's fair. And what about you, Thiago?
For me, I just think the tempo was there. It's something we've been lacking for a while in our performances, is that bit of bite, that bit of punch. Thiago was absolutely sensational. I think one of his best performances in a red shirt. Obviously, Jota was coming off the back of some fantastic performances in the international break and continued that form into the Arsenal game. I mean, the whole side was absolutely clicking all over the park. And Arsenal, I don't think really even had an opportunity to get at the back four. Kabak put a good performance in as well. I don't think he got enough credit for his positional awareness and his defensive display also. So I'd like to give him up a bit of praise. But really, my personal sort of favourite performance from that game was the performance of Thiago. The ball movement was insane. Punching the ball through the lines, getting at their back four, doing what he's been brought to do, is to control games, dictate the tempo and the ball movement. And that's what he showed on against Arsenal.
Yeah, that's a fair way to put it. And Tom, what about you, mate?
See, if you'd asked me before the shit show on Tuesday, I would have said the back, but it just starting to grind my gears a little bit at the minute. The fact that we have these great performances and don't build off them. We seem to. That was Liverpool of old on Saturday. The pressing was there, the intensity. We were showing up a big side in their own ground, and then obviously it came to Tuesday, and it was like we were starstruck by the big stars of Real Madrid. It just confuses me, but
yeah, no, I understand.
Saturday was good. Saturday was good. Everything else wasn't.
Yeah, we'll get into Saturday in just Tuesday in just a second. Daniel saying, "Where's Sonny?" Sonny is just visiting the priest at the moment to wave away his sins for whatever he said about Real Madrid. He's, I believe, apologizing profusely to the vicar or the priest or whatever it is called. But yes, he's confessing his sins, and he'll be back here in a second. Don't worry, we're going to have Sonny on for this as well. But I want to talk about, obviously Tuesday has to get spoken about. Normally Liverpool and Champions League nights normally go quite well, but this one was a disaster class from minute 1 to minute 90. Part of the blame goes to Klopp. Part of the blame goes to the players. I mean, Gini, what's your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, well, if you watched the last show, obviously the tactical analysis, we brought a bit into it there. Deflating, mate. Like I said, Saturday looked so good, looked like the Liverpool of old. Tuesday was the complete opposite. No press, no desire. The work rate shocked me the most. We had players like Jota and Naby who normally run their feet into the ground in games, didn't even press Toni Kroos, which obviously led to their goals. You can't give the quality like the Real Madrid midfield space and time to do what they do, or they'll punish you, and that's what they did. We lost a midfield battle. We never looked into it except from the 10-minute cameo at the start of the first half. As soon as we got that goal, it seemed to deflate us again, and Vinicius goes and does the same. But yeah, it was deflating. It was very poor, very poor. But I do still feel like we can turn it back in the home leg. I think if we press them more, there's things to work on in the first leg that we didn't do that we should have done. And if we did it, I think we'd have got a result there. But yeah, Tuesday was awful, mate.
You certainly got to perform at Anfield, which isn't something you've necessarily done in recent months. But Thiago, I haven't been able to speak to you about your thoughts on Tuesday, but what were your thoughts of just the overall game, really?
I think that the inclusion of Naby Keita was an absolute shock. To be fair, and the performance kind of signified why I believe his Liverpool career is over. You don't get hooked at 41 minutes through no injury, just because you're playing particularly bad. He was off the pace, and I don't subscribe to this whole his lack of match fitness that the whole Twitter timeline was saying. I don't care. This is against Real Madrid. This is one of the biggest nights of your career. This is Champions League football against the all-time winners of the competition. You know, there's no other team in Europe bar Real Madrid and AC Milan that can match our record for Champions League triumphs. So you raise your game for that particular occasion. You run your feet into the ground, and Naby just didn't do that. He was off the pace from the get-go, and that's why we didn't have the pressure and intensity in the midfield. The change to bring Thiago on straight away, the whole tempo changed. There was speed in the play, there was precision in the passes, there was combination plays between the front three. Jota got lively, Mane got lively, Salah was lively. It was from the moment that Thiago stepped on the pitch, it was a fantastic performance. The sucker punch came with the third goal, and I feel that deflated us slightly. But we had probably a 20 to 30 minute spell where we were in the ascendancy. If we're talking about the return leg at Anfield, I have every belief that we can score 2 goals at Anfield. Okay, we've done it on many occasions. We are the comeback kings. All you've got to do is Google greatest Champions League comebacks. Of the top 10, we've got 2 of them in the top 10. The only other Premier League teams that have got 1 in the top in the top 5 is Chelsea. Manchester United's comeback against Bayern in a Champions League final doesn't even make is in there at 6th. So that tells you what we are capable of as a team in terms of comebacks in Europe. But the crucial thing is, can we stop them from scoring? And I just don't have the confidence in our centre-back pairing currently to keep Real Madrid at bay for 90 minutes. It's going to be very, very difficult. So does Klopp go into the game thinking we just go all-out attack? You throw all of our attacking players on from the go and go in the front 4 and just go all-out attack, toto football.
Yeah, no, I would probably do that. I wouldn't trust my defense to try and keep Real Madrid at bay for 90 minutes. I'll just throw the kitchen sink and then the shed and then the living room at them. I'd throw my entire house at Real Madrid. I'll be like, screw it, our defense is crap. Trent, you play as a right winger, Robbo as a left winger, and we're just gonna attack you. Like, I'll just do that.
I just think on the night that Real Madrid's pedigree shined through, they came to the game with their chest puffed, saying, do you know what? Doesn't matter if we've not got Varane, doesn't matter if we've not got Ramos. We're going to puff our chest out and we're going to get the result. Liverpool, like Gini said, we almost looked inferior of them, almost kind of like starstruck, which is incredibly unusual given some of the nights we've had in Champions League football. Barcelona springs to mind. Bayern Munich springs to mind, the Porto result springs to mind, the Napoli result springs to mind over the last 2 seasons. And we just didn't go there and replicate that same kind of energy and performance as we know we can do.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. Tom, what were your thoughts?
Oh, it was abysmal, mate. There's no other words for it, you know. At the end of the day, in these big games, you need your captain to show up. And our captain, Gini Wijnaldum, I don't get how he's captain us when he's going to leave at the end of the season anyway. But he was abysmal again, and I thank him for everything he's done. But I'd rather he didn't play. I'd rather he didn't play at this point because he doesn't look like he can be bothered trying. That fourth, their third goal, 6 seconds he stood stationary. It's pointless. The only two players that can come out of that game with their heads held high are Mo Salah and Ozan Kabak. That's it. And even then, Mo Salah, all he did was score a goal. It was pretty much non-existent for the rest of it. Ozan Kabak had to deal with one of the most informed strikers in the world in Benzema and kept him quiet. It was... Naby Keita had a poor game, I'm not disputing that. Naby Keita was doomed from the start because he's on the side of the Trent. And you can't... Like, Vinicius was always going to run him behind. So then you have to put James Milner on the right-hand side, someone who has the discipline to stay back and cover for when Trent bombs on. Because when Trent bombed on, a couple of good chances were created. I think of that superb cross to Jota. But what he gave us in attack just wasn't worth the risk in defence. And it cost us twice. And I'd love to understand Klopp's reasons for his lineup selection, because I don't think for a Champions League quarter final you can go off training. Like he said.
I agree with you. I think if you're going to play Trent, you need to have Milner in and around his side, whether that be as a central midfielder or even a centre back. You just need someone with that. What you need with Trent, and Robbo obviously had it with Van Dijk last season, you need someone to be like, no, Trent, don't push up, stay back, sit in that hole.
You don't even need that, because he won't listen if you don't tell him to ball on forward. You need someone who will go, right, he's fucked off. We're fucked if I don't go back. So let me just sit back in there and win it back, and then he can stay up there and we've got chances to build up. It was a quiet game as well from Fabinho, but I'm not surprised. Because until Thiago came on, he was doing the one-man job in the midfield.
Tom, I think we're really missing, what we really are missing is Hendo.
100%, mate.
You start to see the influence that Hendo has on that midfield. So like you're talking about, when Trent vacates that space, that gives him license to go up to bomb forward, because what Hendo will do is occupy the space that Trent vacates.
Yeah.
Now, Hendo would have been pushing Vinicius higher up the pitch and making Vinicius defend. It would have been a battle of will in the middle, on that side of the park, because if Hendo pushes, Vinicius thinks that he's got the space to push into, but really he doesn't, because you could potentially, if we're fully fit, you've got a Gomez that's going to cover the run, you've got Hendo that's going to cover the run, and that then gives Trent the opportunity to make a recovery run. And you never really normally see him in our best seasons dropping any real deeper than halfway between the box and halfway between the halfway line. As soon as he gets past there, he's in no man's land. But what he does do is, if he's occupied that space there, he's available for the counter-attack. And how many times have we seen a devastating counter-attack down the right-hand wing or even down the left-hand wing with Robbo, because they picked up the ball so advanced that they can start doing damage and creating overlaps and creating 2v1 scenarios, 3v2 scenarios, sometimes 4v2 scenarios. We're isolating centre-backs that don't want to be isolated. So it's really, really difficult not having Hendo in the park. And you know what? Robbo suffered from Gini, like you're saying, not being in top form, but I still think he's been a standout performer in our midfield in a season where we've had to sacrifice Fabinho into centre back, we've had to sacrifice Hendo into centre back positions to cover the losses of Van Dijk and Gomez. I think his performances have been okay, but you're right. In recent weeks, maybe the switch has flicked, and his attentions have kind of turned elsewhere, and so on and so forth. It's extremely frustrating.
Yeah, no, I agree. A couple of comments. Daniel saying made Vinicius Jr. look like Brazilian Messi. RJ saying, where's Sonny? As I said, he is currently at the church confessing his sins. He'll be back in a bit. Then they're talking to themselves. So it's quite interesting that we got into a Trent debate because we have to talk about Trent. Right? He's had probably the month from hell. Right? So it starts off with Gareth going, don't come with England. We don't want you. You've been in bad form. And then just picking Kyle Walker and Kieran Trippier, which is like, yeah, cool, mate. What? That's not really accurate because they've been also in some shit form. So,
well, Kieran Trippier hasn't been in form because he hasn't played. He's been suspended.
Well, there is that as well. But, you know, at least keep it consistent. I suppose Gareth didn't say, well, Trent had been suspended for match fix, betting fixing or whatever he was banned for 10 games. So I suppose he could take Trippier if we're putting it like that. Then obviously after the international break, Trent puts in probably his best performance against Arsenal. You start to think, is Trent back and all of this? And then you see what happened to him at Real Madrid. Where do you lie in terms of Trent's confidence? Do you think it's shot now? Or do you think that it's just a bad moment and Trent will come back from this with Klopp? Gini, we'll start with you on Trent, then we'll work our way around again.
It's certainly not a pleasant thing to be dropped from England. I don't think Trent's a player to be fazed by it. Jurgen Klopp will still assure him of his quality that he's got. It's a poor patch of form, but like Tom and Thiago's just mentioned, Henderson's pivotal to Trent's role at Liverpool in his covering and Trent going forward. This season, you've actually seen more of a defensive aspect of Trent, which is why he's got so much hate from the media because he's not getting assists, he's not putting the crosses in that he did last season. But they fail to mention that he has got better defensively. Despite the mistakes at Real Madrid, he's improved in the defensive area. He's not perfect. He's not Aaron Wan-Bissaka good defensively, but he is good. And he can add the attacking outlet when Henderson comes back. So that's my stance on him. I still think he's absolutely quality. So, yeah, the haters can say what they want, but I'm sure we'll see a proper Trent next season as well.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. What about you, Thiago?
My whole thing with England is you cannot expect the best out of Trent Alexander-Arnold when you don't play Trent football. Yeah, you don't play Trent football. You play safe, fragile football. What England manager plays three at the back with Reece James to the right of a three, with Kyle Walker tucked in, or Trippier to the right of a three with Kyle Walker tucked in? It makes no sense. If you're going with a three at the back, surely you want your right back to be the attacking outlet. And if that's the case, there's no one better in the Premier League as an attacking right back than Trent Alexander-Arnold. I don't subscribe to the Reece James bollocks. I don't subscribe to it, yeah? Reece James is a quality fullback. He's a solid fullback. And all credit to him with his performances of late with Chelsea. But he cannot deliver on an attacking basis what Trent can deliver. Facts. We know this, yeah? So Gareth kind of has to make up his mind what way he wants to go. And I feel like the inclusion of Kyle Walker at the right centre-back position of the three, he knows that Maguire is pony and doesn't have pace to get him out of trouble if the ball comes over the top. He knows that John Stones is probably going to get caught in possession trying to do a 1980s Beckenbauer and bringing the ball out. We know that, yeah? So Walker's in there for that pace element to get those two boys out of trouble. Nothing else, because Walker is an absolute athlete, yeah? So he's in there for that reason. So you kind of have to play an attacking fullback to compensate for how defensive you're being, or you're never going to have enough ball. Something interesting that Gary Neville said on Monday Night Football was he played in England teams where he knows he's not going to get enough of the ball. So if you're an England player and you're going to a fixture knowing that you're not going to have enough of the ball, you're sitting there thinking, well, what's the point in being here? So like Gini said, I don't think Trent's worried about being included in the England squad. His performance against Arsenal showed that it's two fingers up to you, mate. You don't want to pick the best right back in the league, then that's absolutely your problem. And when we get knocked out in the group stages, everyone's going to be saying, where was Trent? So ultimately, it's just a case of casting it under the carpet. The England thing's gone. It's done and dusted. If he doesn't go to the Euros, it's not such a big deal. He's fresh for the revenge till 21-22 anyway. So
yeah, no, I agree with everything you've said there. Tom, what about you, mate?
Look, is Trent Alexander-Arnold a system player? Yes, in the sense of the word, yes. But my God, is he a very good one? He's a type of player that's worth building the system around. And I think his confidence, he knows better than anyone what it's like to have confidence the way it was, He's had his questions about multiple times. I remember the season we lost the Champions League final. He got it was the Rashford game, and that was the reaction from that was tough, but he withstood it. He's strong mentally. I think he'll bounce back from this. I just think he needs that protection around him to get the best out of him. Am I disappointed that he's not improved on the defensive end? Well, he has, but am I disappointed that the system hasn't improved to give him enough cover when Henderson's up there? Yes. But I'd rather we were a little bit more exposed than lose Trent's best assets.
Yeah, no, I agree. Do you know what? Saul's said something, and I've had a little think and looked into it a bit. And I actually understand what he's saying. He said, why don't we play, if we do the three at the back, why don't we play Wan-Bissaka as the right centre-back with Trent as the wing-back? And I was like, when he first said that to me, I was like, that's mad. That would never work. And then I thought of it. I was like, Wan-Bissaka can cover for Trent's defensive incapabilities, shall we say. Mm-hmm. And that would work perfectly. It really would. Because Wan-Bissaka can move over to cover the right back, and he knows how to do it. He's also got the pace to cover for Maguire. So he could do both. So
Wan-Bissaka plays like a right centre-back anyway at United. He's always holding Lindelof's hand.
Exactly. So, if he was the right centre-back in England with Trent as the right wing-back, that works. It works very well.
Gareth's tactically inept.
Yeah, I know that, but we're just having to assume that I'm the New England manager for the summer. I'm New England manager, and Gareth Southgate's being sent to Colombia, or something like that. Like, he's a waste of space. But look, I do think Trent will come back out of this in a better for it as well. I think confidence-wise, it will get better. But also, every young player goes through a rough ride. We're looking at Greenwood now, and he's only just starting to look and feel the same as he was last season. Trent will get it back and all of that. At the moment, yeah, it's tough, but he will get there, absolutely. I want to talk about obviously the decision that Jordan Henderson took this week, actually yesterday, in handing over his social media accounts to an anti-cyberbullying charity. Gini, we'll start with you. What's your thoughts of Hendo doing this? We all know that Henderson is a fantastic man, was a part of getting the NHS thing started and all of that. What do you think of him taking this next step in trying to at least do something regarding, obviously, cyberbullying and hate crime?
Yeah. Look, it's a top class act that everyone should be doing if they've got the ability to do so. Henderson's big on social media, of course, because of the player he is, the person he is. So it's great to help stuff like that out. I feel like the social media networks themselves need to do more to this situation. I think they're very quick to, if you put a copyrighted video on Twitter, they're very quick to take it down. So, hopefully something like that should be operated with racism. So I think and cyberbullying itself. Social media is a dark place at times, and there's too much negativity. So obviously every help's possible, and Henderson's got that class act to do it. So yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Tiago, are you there or?
I'm still here. Don't worry. I'm still here, pal.
Excellent. What do you make of Henderson giving his social media accounts to the anti-cyberbullying charity?
Look, as we've seen over many occasions, not only with the NHS work, with some of the foundations and charities he supported over his time as Liverpool captain, Henderson is a model pro. He's a role model, and what a great decision to actually hand over your social media account to an anti-bullying campaign, an anti-cybercrime campaign, and set an example for what other pros should be doing. I did a show with my guys at Never a Foul on a segment we have called Chew the Fat, and there was a racism segment. Please head over to Never a Foul to check that out. Racism has no place in the game, whether it be on the pitch, whether it be online, whether it be in the tunnel, in the dugout, wherever it might be. Racism has no place in football. I coach football on a Sunday, and I've had my son plays for me, and my eldest son is 10, and he experienced racism on a football pitch at the age of 8. Racism it's something that you inherit like a dusty, he really wants, but it's passed down to you, and you kind of have to take it because it's given to you. Yeah. And you have to be strong. We know that we live in a multicultural and diverse society, and in terms of football needs to be a trailblazer in its inclusion and diversity. Football is the people's game, played by the people for the people. It's a common language. It's almost like a religion. Yeah. But how can something that's so fantastic that we all enjoy, regardless of, creed, race, colour, whatever it may be so decisive and so manipulative when it gets online? You can give someone a social media account, multiple social media accounts, and ultimately they've got no face, because all they can do is just log on and decide, you know what, Trent's had a bad game, Naby's had a bad game. Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll single them out because they're black. It doesn't make any difference to their colour. Ultimately, we're a club and we should be supporting our players regardless. It's just disappointing to see, really, in this day and age, this stuff is still happening.
Yeah, look, I echo a lot of what you said, if not all of it. We did a stream recently regarding anti-discrimination of all levels, homophobia, racism. There's so many to name, and all of them are bang out of order, and none of them should be in today's society. And I think anyone that can do this, look, you shouldn't have to give over your social media account. Let me make that perfectly clear to start with. No player should be in the position that they want to come off social media, they're going to hand it to a charity. No one should be in that position. If you do want to leave social media, that I completely understand. It's a horrific place. Obviously, I've chosen to do this, so I will at some point receive whatever comment there will be. They'll be subject to the words "fuck off" from me and told to go back into their cave. But there shan't be any. It won't affect me. I if anyone disagrees with me and is going to use discriminatory language, I'll just tell them to fuck off. But not everyone can be like that. Certainly not to the extent of Trent, who is a professional footballer with a large following, and people want to hate on him. But absolutely, totally agree that there is no place for racism. There's certainly no place for any discrimination of any kind. But Tom, what do you make of Henderson giving his social media account to the anti-cyberbullying charity?
Class act from a class man, but it shouldn't have come to that. That's all I've got to say. I don't want to give any more airtime to issues like that because it shouldn't be a thing that we're discussing. I hate the fact that it's become such a regular thing. Every other day you're seeing it come up, and it's just violent.
Look, we all know that Twitter, Instagram, they need to do more, and I for one, and I'll use this platform as many times as I can to really get that point across that we need to eradicate this from society, and that's a fact. It's just a shame that other channels don't want to do the same, or for whatever reason. But I want to talk about a transfer speculation or rumor or whatever, and it is Konate to Liverpool. Gini, I'll get you a start on this one. Do you want Konate?
Honestly, I don't watch enough of the German league to know about him. I know his injury record. I think that's a bit of a myth by looking at it, because it was just a one long-term injury and then just little niggles after that. For what at the moment he seems to be fine. But look, anyone that Klopp's interested in, I trust fully. He's one of the best in the world for recruitment and bringing players in and then improving them, if not the best in the world. So yeah, I can't say. Personally, I don't think German sides are great defensively. When I watched them in the Champions League. But look, I don't know. There's no doubt that he's a hot prospect. Otherwise, we won't be after him, and he's got a lot of hype around him. So yeah, and we need defensive cover. So I'd be really happy if the transfer goes through.
Totally agree with that. Daniel saying Reece James for the win, and no discrimination should be allowed. Everyone is equal. Totally agree with that. And it was actually great to see our first ever female referee in the EFL. So things are going along.
Pedro Neto was just went off injured. It's not Tottenham, but Pedro Neto has just gone off injured for Wolves.
Oh, we don't like to hear that. I like Pedro Neto. He's coming to Argyle in the summer, as is Sancho. They're all coming. Haaland's, trust me, Haaland's going to be gracing Home Park green and white kit. You heard it here first. But Thiago, what do you make of Konate? Would you want him at Liverpool?
Yeah, I mean, look, I watch a lot of German football, so I do have a bit of an inside scoop on him. Of the two that were at Leipzig, Konate and Upamecano, Konate is credited as being the kind of the brains of the operation, and Upamecano is the all-action kind of more rash one. We need a Van Dijk successor, because ultimately Virgil van Dijk is 29 now, isn't he? And centre backs we know can go on for a long time. He's got another probably 4 or 5 years at the top level, but in 4 or 5 years, Konate will be 27. What a way to bring him through, playing alongside Virgil. You know, Gomez has his injury concerns since he joined from Charlton. He's had, I think this is his third or maybe even fourth knee injury since he signed from Charlton as an 18-year-old. So that's a slight concern in that position for me. There was paper talk today that FSG view Kovac as a more viable option than Konate. Obviously, I think it comes down to finances. Personally, I also feel that we could potentially negotiate a slightly better deal on Kovac. There is no. We don't have to buy him at 18 million. And the way that it's looking at the moment, Schalke are looking odds-on favourite to be relegated from the Bundesliga, which would then give us the edge in the Kovac transfer, meaning that we could probably get him for nearer to 15 million than the 18 has been muted, because Schalke are desperate for funds. If Schalke weren't interested in selling him, why would they let their prized asset, arguably their best player and a faltering team, go on loan from January till the end of the season? So I almost believe the deal could already be done for Kovac to join. I also believe some of the names that we've been linked with and some of the transfer links lead us to potential system change. Maybe Liverpool behind the scenes are already working on a system change that sees us go to 3 at the back. Ben Davies, left-sided centre-back, that could possibly play on the left of a Van Dijk Gomez combination, a Van Dijk centre-back combination, a Van Dijk Konate combination. It gives us options in the centre-back roles, and that will then free up a Trent or a Robbo to go and do some major attacking damage as wing-backs. I would just say watch that space and see how it progresses. Obviously, medicals apparently already been done. But if we do manage to get him, what a prospect and what a signing he would be.
Yeah, I agree with that. Tom, what about you, mate?
I sit there and I see Kabak and I see Konate and I see them two, Gomez, Van Dijk, and someone else, or like a young kid or something, as the 5 centre backs for this club for the next 3-4 years. And the fact that apparently we can only get one is shocking. I think we should be in for both Kabak and Konate. Get them both in. Because even if both of them are backups, which I doubt they'll be, but even if both of them are, what a backup centre-back pairing. You know, we are a big club, and our owners still like to think we're that mid-table club that they bought. You know, look at Man City's backup centre-back pairing. Kabak and, you know, who was it? Laporte and I think Fernandinho dropped in, don't it?
It was Eric Garcia, but obviously they've fallen out there.
I think, but to be fair, they very rarely get injuries anyway, do they?
So let's say Laporte,
Nathan Ake.
Ake, that's
there you go. Laporte and Nathan Ake. Konate and Kabak. I'll take Konate start. So Gomez and Kabak is on a level that can compete with that. I'm not saying it's better, but it can compete with that level of depth. That's what we need to aspire to. So I think we need to get both, and I think Konate, any player will be enticed by the prospect of being mentored by Virgil van Dijk. And with everything that all the scouts and that say, the fact that he's better than Upamecano, got more potential, you know, it's a no-brainer. And especially since I saw today that his release clause isn't 40 million, it's closer to 32. So we could get Kabak and Konate for 50 million. That's ridiculous value.
There was a
I think
rumor.
it would be stupid to not take it.
There was a rumor in the papers recently about oh god, his name's just escaped my freaking head. I've gone blank. Our Welsh right back,
Nico Williams.
Nico Williams.
Yeah. So there's a rumor in the papers about Nico Williams potentially being up for transfer, which would then make sense if we was to go and buy 2 centre backs, because Gomez can play in that right back position. So if we was to go and get 2, if we were going to go into market and buy 2 centre backs, that means that we've got cover in both positions, because we know that Liverpool and Klopp like to kind of rotate players and buy one player to serve 2 purposes. Almost.
Yeah, and then we've also got like James Milner for a backup there as well. Fabinho can do a job there. You know, I think Nico Williams, he's an interesting one. You know, he had such a good last season, and then he's really struggled. He's someone whose confidence has took a hit this season, Nico Williams. You know, after the Lincoln game, I don't think he's been the same for us. And
I just don't think he's a good player, Nico Williams.
He's not bad.
Simple as that.
He's not bad, but he's similar to Trent, and we need something different than Trent in a backup right back.
No, but he's not really similar to Trent, because Trent is actually really good going forward. Like, Nico Williams is all right going forward.
You can't have 2 backup. You can't have a backup that's the exact same.
No, I agree. We shouldn't. I don't even think Nico Williams, even if he was like a different sort of right back, I still don't think he's good enough to be backup.
Yes,
I agree.
I agree.
I don't think Nico Williams is.
I
don't think he's
Liverpool
gravy, to be fair. There's better options in the market, and also with Gomez, there's a better option there potentially in the right back role. I think with Nico Williams' best performances have come playing for the Welsh team, and also he suffered not having a Virgil van Dijk and the Gomez in the centre-back pairing, giving him the license to get forward. You know, a lot of young players this season have played a lot of games for a number of different clubs because of injuries and COVID. And I feel like he might have almost been exposed and kind of taken him out the firing line a little bit just to try and nurture that confidence and that growth a bit more.
The problem I have with Trent, is when I look at him, like, you remember when Tellez came in for Man United and made Luke Shaw get better? I don't know if that would work with Trent, because I look at Trent as, I don't know if his mentality is there. I think if someone came in to try and like compete with him in the same position, I think Trent might kind of take that as like an insult. Like, he knows he's obviously dropped off and he might get like a bit, a bit lost in confidence even more.
What, a bit like Martial when United try
not like the same as Martial, but I look at Trent as like, it's not someone who's going to like spur on with competition. I think he's going to take that as an insult.
Yeah, I think that's very similar to Martial, where you chuck any sort of competition near him and he sort of crumbles and goes into his shell. But Gini, you said that was goal. I see it in the comments, but you watching the game or something?
Yeah, Connor Cody switched it over to the right hand side. It's a super ball. Oh, they are checking for VAR by a sleeve. But it was William Jose to get his first goal for Wolves.
Apparently, Daniel is saying offside by a finger.
I don't know if you can see that.
Gini, trying to get him banned.
Oh, why? Will you get banned for that? Oh, sorry, no.
Probably.
He's been disallowed. Wow, it's crazy.
Yeah,
there you go.
Offside by a finger. Sonny, just before we move on, obviously you've come back from the church to confess your sins for whatever you said about Real Madrid.
I had to go to Madrid and back. I had to apologise to all them lot.
You won't be disrespecting Madrid ever again, I don't think. What was it? Don't be scared of the name. They're, along them lines.
I've said it. I still don't think I underestimated Real Madrid. I just think I overestimated us.
But we're talking Konate, and we're seeing if you'd want him at Liverpool.
Of course, I'd want Konate, but I don't want. I think I heard a little bit, but just before I came on, I wouldn't like to get Konate instead of Kabak. Like, why is the reason why we can't get both? Like, we can afford them both, or we should be able to afford them both. Because if you look at these top clubs, there's no way they go for one or the other. They go for both. Because what does that ensure? That ensures that you get players for backup. And what have we seen this season? That whatever happens, we're going to end up needing backup. This season's been like the maddest season ever. We should not be scared to buy centre backs.
Yeah, no, that's a valid point, especially centre backs. You definitely don't want to be. You don't want to be stingy on centre backs ever.
At this point, we're not in a position to pick and choose centre backs. It's, do you have working knees? All right, mate, here's a contract.
Yeah, and the thing we can't do for me is we should never, ever, ever again look at Fabinho as an option at centre back, because we've seen how much we miss at the midfield. And if we're going to look at Fabinho as a centre back option, then we're going to have to buy more midfielders.
You need to get rid of some. Like I feel like Shaqiri, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Gini, maybe Naby.
No, Shaqiri's all right.
FSG can go with him, Niall.
Leave Shaqiri out of it.
FSG can go with him.
Yeah.
Leave Shaqiri out of it.
No. Tom, we got to be honest. Like, we don't have a say on the club, really, do we? So, although we should, Klopp obviously doesn't rate Shaqiri as well as we probably do. So we need to look at it from his perspective as well. He should probably go.
Yeah,
Shaqiri, listen, I would pay good money to hire an Uber, a minibus, and drop off Shaqiri, Origi, I'd drop off Naby Keita.
No, man, leave Shaqiri out of this, man. He's like top shunned. You see him. You'll lose out on the memes of 6'4" Klopp telling Shaqiri what to do. And
his injuries piss me off as well, though, isn't it? Like, his injuries just. Any player who has injuries, and I know it's a bit controversial because I said I want Konate, but Shaqiri has injuries, and it just whoever has injuries these days, especially after this season, like, you just piss me off.
If you want an interesting one,
you've almost got to look at Shaqiri and he gets injured.
Tsimikas, what's he done? We brought him to be back up to Andy Robertson, and he can't even be trusted against Wolves when we were playing Reece Bloody Williams.
Was he even fit against Wolves?
Exactly. Like,
No, I get that with Simicast, yeah, but it has
Tsimikas
only been a few months.
I was just about to say, Tsimikas has only been here one season, so you can't really judge him
No,
yet.
no.
Shaqiri,
But
But then again,
been...
Klopp's subbing people off in the 40th minute, so we'll wait and see.
yeah,
I
but
get that it's his first season, but you know, it's still enough time to at least play more than 4 Premier League minutes.
I agree, but if you're not careful, Tom, the way you're talking, FSG might try and sell you in a minute. They might try and
get some money for fans.
Yeah, they'll sell you to United or something, and that'll be a shock to your system.
Mate, they're gonna start sitting there and going, right, which fans are expecting? He doesn't sing loud enough when he's at the game, so we'll get
We'll sell them all to City. They need fans.
They'll make a little deal with LeBron James or whoever it's with about trying to switch clubs. That will gain him some money.
He's massive. LeBron, just chuck him at centre back. He can head balls away.
The next topic we're going to talk about before Tom names every single fan and tells us where they're going to go. I want to talk Jota. Apparently, the reports are that he's now Klopp's go-to man. Gini, we'll start with you.
Are you about to say he's injured?
No, I wouldn't do that to you. Although I have heard reports that apparently your entire first team are doing total wipeout training tomorrow. So I'm unsure what that means. So
nothing's new there then.
But yeah, Gini, thoughts on Jota becoming Klopp's go-to man?
What do you mean by that?
Well, when Klopp's in trouble and needs people doing work and scoring goals, Jota is that man.
Who said that?
Oh no, I just fucking read it.
Hopefully all of us say that.
What is Salah not the go-to man?
He's your. I don't know.
I think he means starting striker. He's now our starting number 9.
Yeah, like Salah shouldn't even be. Salah's staying there.
Yeah, well, if it's a starting number 9, if it's a question of Jota or Firmino, I love Firmino, but it's got to be Jota now. Of course, it's
no. I need to butt in with this. This is what I was saying in my preview a few hours ago. Would you not do this against Villa? If we're being real, Mane's actually been worse than Firmino.
Yeah, Jota on the left, Firmino up front,
Jota left, Salah right, and Firmino in the middle. Firmino in the middle is still shit, but it's just a different coloured shit to Mane, and it might be a little bit better. Because if you want to call it form, Mane's been awful, man. Whenever he tries to take on a player, I cannot remember the last time he's beaten a player.
What about swapping Mane and Firmino out for Origi and Jota?
No. We'll leave Origi out of this.
How has Divock Origi found himself in another conversation? How does he do it?
Because I quite like Divock Origi.
Do you want my take on it? Do you want my take on it?
Go for it, bro. Go for it, mate.
Do you want my take on it?
Yeah, mate.
So you need to get Salah closer to goal. Yeah, you need to get Salah closer to goal. The closer Salah gets to goal, the more goals he scores. He is unbelievable goal scorer. I feel Jota, a lot of his goals have come from the wide position. Yeah. But at the moment, because the lack of form from Sadio Mane for the game against Villa, I think the system is as you named it: Jota through the middle. So Jota off the left, Firmino through the middle, and Salah off the right. Ultimately, for him being Klopp's go-to man, I don't really think that's the case. I don't think Klopp has favourites, so to speak. And if he does have loyalties and favourites, out of the front three, it's always going to be with Firmino, because he's always waxed lyrical about what Firmino does off the ball, not only what he does on the ball. So if any of those are his favourites, it's going to be Firmino, to be honest. And I know that Sonny's been a bit critical of Firmino in that little burst there, but guys, you can't deny the quality of Roberto Firmino. The only thing now, I think his role needs to change.
We could have done with it. We could have done with
his role needs to change. He needs to come off the bench.
Tuesday.
Andy Carroll in the last 18 months would have done more than Firmino. That's how bad he's actually been. Firmino before that 18 months has been brilliant, but we're not talking about a few years ago.
You only see him as a goal scorer.
Oh, FYI.
It's not like I'm not watching Firmino when he's playing. He's been shit in everything he does.
FYI, Thiago meet Sonny, Sonny meet Thiago. I can see this is going to be fun.
You know what? My take on it, I wouldn't play Mane and I wouldn't play Firmino against Villa. I wouldn't play either.
What are you playing then?
I'm playing Ox.
What, on the wing?
You are playing Ox. You hate Ox.
Ox on the wing.
I hate Ox, but I'm playing Ox.
Tom
like
Little's playing Ox.
Yeah. Basically, I want us to play a diamond more and have Jota and Salah both up front together
Ox
because
is
they
like
have
a
a
10.
solid link up. Ox is a 10.
I like
using his pace from deep.
I'd like
no
to see
point
Ox
even thinking.
play centre forward and play that Firmino role. I thought he looked really good doing it against Wolves in like the 10-minute cameo played when he come on centre forward. So
Thing is, though, Ox could have a good end to the season. I still want him gone.
you want everyone gone, Sonny?
Well,
I
everyone
see
needs to go.
I want to see Origi. Origi is a huge
I
part
don't
of
want to see
Liverpool.
Origi, so I don't know.
No, I really do. I think he's valuable to Liverpool.
Every
He
time,
just you
Stop
can't
it,
drop
no.
him. He's such
every
a
time
top quality
Origi plays,
player.
my life expectancy just goes down one by one by one.
Hey, look,
Mate.
as a neutral, Origi and crossbar challenge, it works quite nicely. I like to see it.
Lacazette
Big
did
up-
Origi on yesterday.
Chris.
Oh no,
Get through one-on-one and hit the ball.
They work together. What can I say? Chris saying big up the lads, big up to yourself as well. Hashtag Nat Beckenbauer.
Chris, I ain't on that anymore. I'm not doing it.
These guys are
I'm sorry.
flip flop.
Chris, I'm not doing it anymore.
What one
Hold
game
on,
against
hold on,
Madrid?
hold on,
No.
Have you
doing it.
finally seen the light and recognised that although Nat Phillips has had a good run of form, he's not Liverpool quality?
No, I said after the other day, I love Nat Phillips, but that game against Real Madrid showed me why he won't be in the team in the long term.
Oh, well, I've broken
He can
through.
play alongside Van Dijk next season.
No, I never said that.
He's our
I never
second best
ever
centre
said
back.
that.
He's the second best centre
No,
back.
you lot are taking out of context. I said if you looked at the games they played for Liverpool, Nat Phillips was the second best centre back. I said that because that was true at the time I said it.
I'm gonna find it later tonight and clip it where it's saying
Genie,
I want Nat
it's
Phillips
okay.
next to
It's
him.
okay. I believe the clip was posted on the YouTube channel. It was about a 20-minute fight between Sonny and Tom. It's all there, so make sure you go check that out. There was a clip. I clipped it and put it on YouTube. So just go back there. I believe
this ain't me saying that I agree with Tom or anything. This is
Sounds
just me
like,
saying I've lowered down the Beckenbauer bit's gone. That's all.
Yeah, that's fair. Chris is currently laughing his head off.
Sounds like
sorry,
Sonny
Chris.
got all reaction over that. Over
No, it wasn't reaction. He played a good few games when I said it.
Chris is saying if you're blaming Phillips, then you have to blame Kabak.
Kabak was really good against Madrid, in my opinion. If you take away,
Kabak kept Benzema quiet. Nat Phillips had rings ran around him by Vinicius Jr. Like, I get it's not his fault, but Vinicius was all over Phillips. Kabak kept one of the deadliest centre forwards in the world at the minute.
Do you know what?
One
I blame
shot.
the stadium. It wasn't a proper stadium.
What's it?
Actually,
You know Ben Davies was on the bench.
I forgot about this. I wanted your opinions. Genie, do you agree with your manager and blame the stadium, or do you think that's just another one of the excuses of blaming the wind?
No, it's the stadium. To be honest, I completely agree. It's a disgrace that we got played there at Madrid. You can't blame the players for going to a stadium like that and expect them to perform. That's my take on it.
100%. Like, it's not an actual stadium. These are Premier League footballers, and they're being forced to play. It's an academy stadium. It's obviously here.
No, on the real though, man. It's embarrassing that he's actually coming out and doing this stuff. At the start of the season, I was like, you know what? There's a few excuses behind it. Like, you can say this up until now, but you got to realize, you just be honest. I get that he doesn't want to throw his players under the bus, but saying that we can't play in an 8,000 capacity stadium, what is the actual excuse? Like, why can't we play in an 8,000 capacity stadium? If we can't do that, then we shouldn't be playing football.
I mean, what can I say?
I just think that a lot of Klopp's comments get taken out of context. So some of the stuff that he says, because we're not forgetting, there is a slight language barrier in terms of definition and context with some of the stuff that he says. So by stadium, I mean that I'm not being funny. If you are a player and you're pulling up to the Bernabeu, you're going to raise your game, aren't you? You're going to go, do you know what? This is the
But look at Anfield.
Bernabeu, yeah?
Anfield's 50,000-60,000 capacity. We don't turn up there.
Yeah, but
it's only been 4 games, Sonny. It's not that deep.
6 games.
It's not that deep. 6 games.
Yeah,
It's
but
not
like,
that deep. We're allowed
our
6
our
games
season,
considering we went 2
our
years
season's
unbeaten.
done, so we're just gonna give teams their moments at Anfield because our season's done anyway. You know,
Well, every team that
Our
moment at
season's
Anfield,
not
yeah?
done. We've got a
mate.
Champions League game coming up where we can go
Our
to the
Premier League
semi-finals.
season is done.
We've got a top 4 charge coming up this Saturday. Our season's
Genie,
not
mate,
done.
Genie, do you know who we're playing in our last games of the season?
Yeah, I've seen the fixtures.
Do you realistically think with the way we played against them sides this season, we're gonna win enough and Chelsea are gonna lose enough?
No, Tom.
that
What
we
he's
will get
saying
top
there is
four?
technically it's not over.
Yeah,
like we're saying, technically it isn't.
Look, Tom, I think forget the past. I think the only 2 teams that will drop points. I'm not saying we will. I've not finished.
No,
yet.
but you can't say forget the past. Okay, it's not easy to forget what we've done this season.
No. I'm saying going into the next games, I think the only 2 teams who will drop points to is getting a point at Villa on the weekend against Villa and United. I think we get maximum points from the rest.
That's an interesting one. A couple of comments. It's Sonny's impression for me. Daniel saying Klopp has the worst excuses.
He does.
Chris saying it was training ground stadium. Jesus Christ, at least Carlisle Stadium was bigger. Wind in Spain. Yeah. Look, Real Madrid are saving money. And don't forget.
So, Genie, you expect us to beat Leeds?
One minute. The Bernabeu.
Yes.
1 minute. The Bernabeu is
to beat Leeds.
Shut it. But don't forget the Bernabeu is under construction. They're putting the roof on it, I think, or doing something. So you couldn't physically do that unless you wanted to injure or harm your players. So training ground it was, and training ground Klopp didn't really work too well. But moving on, the last bit I want to talk about. Now, I know this is probably just media bullshit, but I thought I'd chuck it in anyway. Apparently, Mane and Firmino are fed up with Salah. Where have we had this before?
I'm fed up with Mane and Firmino. Forget about
Mate, I'll tell you what, Mane's been fed up with Salah for 4 years, so I'm surprised they've lasted this
from
long.
the get-go.
Yeah,
but look at it though. Yeah, people are forgetting the best striking partners in history. Best striking partners in history hate each other. They hate each other. You look for us. Yeah, we had Suarez and Sturridge. Yeah, they
hated each other.
The only thing that made those guys perform was the sheer desire to outscore one another. Teddy Sheringham and Andy Cole hate each other. They hate each other to even today. Still now, they refuse to do punditry together or anything because they hate each other. One of the most lethal Premier League combinations ever. Yeah, it's standard. It's standard. I don't know why fans do so much.
They can't stand each other.
This is completely different. Every one you've just named was actually good.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, Mane was good, yeah, but Mane's hating on Salah or disagreeing or whatever while Mane's playing shit. So it's all a bit useless, isn't it? Salah's doing good.
This rubbish anyway. What's this rubbish source, Niall?
100%. It's all media spec. I'm not
Genie, did you not hear me when I literally said this is probably media bullshit, but I'll chuck it out anyway?
So it doesn't.
So Genie, open your freaking ears, you dead fat.
Don't talk about this nonsense.
Just say, Genie, how many times do we?
It's a non.
How many times? How many times do we have to tell you to open your ears, Genie? I thought I'll chuck out and get an opinion.
I'll tell you what, the media don't do their research. I've got to be honest, the media don't do. Do they not remember the Liverpool best mate section with Mo Salah and Sadio Mane 3 years ago?
Yeah, the besties on the YouTube channel.
Anyway, Sonny gave me the perfect opinion. He's fed up with Mane and Firmino.
Sonny's fed up with everything.
It's funny how they're fed up with our top scorer, isn't it? Not like someone who's.
Chris is saying Firmino is done as a number 9. I can't find Mane this season, to be honest. He's been playing Where's Mane, never mind Where's Wally.
It's mad to think he has 18 goal contributions. I'm not like disagreeing with Chris, I agree, but it's mad to think Mane actually has 18 goal contributions.
It is mad. But the last one I want to talk about, and Genie, don't flip your lid, it's only a Villa preview. It's only the Villa preview. What are you expecting before we get
What source did you get this from?
The fucking Premier League, you daft bastard. So we're talking Villa because they're your next focus. Unless Tom disagrees and you're not playing Villa.
What
Tom,
source now?
What's
Yeah.
it?
Go to www.premierleague.co.uk and you'll find it.
I don't believe them. I don't.
Well,
believe
yeah, we'll have to
taking
we'll have to take the Premier League title away from you because I don't.
As Thiago said, it's a non-starter for me, mate.
What Villa preview non-starter? Now we're talking. Gini, what are you expecting from Villa? Are you expecting to get another 7-2 thlashing?
No.
Okay, no.
It's massive news that we've got Grealish out.
Is it? Is that
which
official?
Yeah. Well, it's official from Villa, unless they're playing mind games. We'll wait and see. But apparently,
Tom, are you happy? Are you happy
Yeah,
with that
he's
source, Tom?
I don't know. I don't know. I won't believe it until.
No, Aston Villa might actually be chatting shit. So it's not even. They might
he'll be out. He'll be out.
Yeah, carry on, Gini.
Till he plays.
So
he's injured. He's out.
Yeah, Villa love a game against the big top teams, as we've seen this season. They love taking points off the top teams. They've done it all season. So I've always said that I think the two games you're struggling in this last run of games till the end of the season in the Premier League is Villa United. So
you're writing off Leeds very early. Yeah.
Your up Leeds is ours too much.
I'm not. I hate Marcelo Bielsa.
Oh.
They just scare me.
Why?
Leeds could batter us.
We could batter Leeds.
No, we could, but they could batter us.
RJ is saying so. Cash is back for Villa. Are you scared anymore?
No.
But we're not talking freaking Leeds. They're not your next game.
Boys, let's with the Villa game. Yeah. All it comes down to is tempo. If we play with tempo and punch the ball through the lines, yeah, we can get at that back four. Yeah, they've got no Jack Grealish to try and hurt us. Naturally, they've got Ollie Watkins, which if we give him time and space, will terrorise back Phillips. Let's be honest, because he non-stop works. But their main outlet and their main source or a main provider is injured. So we have to get a grip of the game in midfield. If we can outrun it in midfield, which I think we can, and get Thiago on the ball and start playing the ball into our three, we can win that game.
I no longer look at the opposition though. No longer do I look at the opposition and say they're weak in that opposition because we've played Fulham, we've played
because when you look at the opposition, they turn us over like Real Madrid.
That's what I'm saying. When we look at the opposition and we say they're weak or something, realistically, it doesn't matter. Like we've lost 6 home games in a row. Like for me, I only look at how we're going to turn up, and I haven't got a clue.
I'm just wondering,
and I agree with you,
Thiago. I'm just wondering what makes you. I'm not disagreeing with you. What makes you think we can get at that back four of Villa because they've been very strong all season.
Well, this is what I'm trying to say. It's tempo. As long as the tempo's there. We play with the same intensity we played against Arsenal, we win that game. We win that game. Because the tempo is where they're not going to be able to
get at that back four is because we've got one of the best attacks in the league. It's just one of them hasn't fired at all this season. I've said it so many times, is it going to be the game? Is it going to be the game? I'm not going to say it this time, but he's bound to have a good Premier League performance soon.
Hang on, who?
Mane.
Yeah, it will be the last game of the season. It will be the last game of the season before.
Like Firmino last season, yeah.
Yeah. RJ saying, "No, what did Chelsea get in the quiz? They got 10. And I've made these quizzes a lot harder."
Have you told RJ that he can't Google as well this week? Which I mean,
so RJ, they got 10. Arsenal got 12, and you can't Google these. They're pictures.
RJ.
He also says,
this kid.
He also says, I'm saying 3-0 Villa. You need to rest if you want a chance.
Shut up, 3-0 Villa. Piss off.
He says Trent's going to bottle it over the weekend. Chris saying 2-1 Villa to Liverpool. And RJ saying you're being kind. Let's do score predictions before we move to the quiz. Gini, score predictions.
My heart's telling me 1-0. My head's telling me 1-1. 2-0. I'll go 2-0.
Right. Tom.
I reckon there's gonna either be a goal for either Liverpool or Villa. There's gonna be no goals all game. I can't tell you who's gonna win that.
Spicy prediction, that Tom.
Tell you what, that could be wrong. That Tom.
That could be a classic. That
Sonny.
2-0. I just think we will have to try and not even get revenge. I ain't even saying revenge anymore because we should have done that against Real Madrid. But I think we're going to be a bit motivated, more than usual. So I'd say 2-0.
Mate, how are we sitting here going, we need to get revenge against the mighty Aston Villa?
Yeah, but they beat us 7-2.
We don't.
You know what? They could beat us 7-2 again this season, and I wouldn't be surprised. That's what this season is.
And Thiago?
No, revenge is the whole thing that got us fucked up against Real Madrid. We were too busy thinking about revenge. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go into the game and just take care of the job. If we do that and we play tempo and we punch the ball through the lines into the front three like we know we can, 2-1 to Liverpool, because I can't see us stopping Villa from scoring with the pressure from Ollie Watkins and what he can bring, because he's a class forward. He works incredibly hard for the team, so putting pressure on the back four. So I reckon 2-1 Liverpool.
That's a shout. I go 7-2 to Villa. I just like to keep it consistent. Same result as before. Banter. That would be bad. That would be very bad for Liverpool. Although if we are doing a match reaction, so I'm sure Gini would be. Gini, you'd be unavailable for that match reaction.
I will be unavailable for that match reaction.
If you lost 7-2, if you win, obviously Gini will be your first one here. But if you lose, Gini will be hiding in. I believe. Have you got a ticket to Saul's Cave as well?
If we lose, Saul's Cave might have to be entered.
Yeah, he offered you the chance, didn't he? So you might end up in Saul's Cave. Chris saying his lineup: Alisson, Trent, Kabak, Phillips, Tsimikas, Fabinho, Jones, Milner, Salah, Firmino, Jota. Robertson needs a rest. Played a lot of games.
I think Curtis or Ox instead of Milner.
RJ saying, yeah, you lost 7-2, Sonny. If you take the name out of that squad, it's a horrible balanced team. Need to play Salah, Firmino, Mane and Jota versus Madrid. Very bad defense, very strong attack. But it's that time of the week where I get to watch these lot stress over some pictures. They won't have a more stressful time of their week. And I'm looking forward to it. So the first picture, and just for new, obviously, Thiago done lineups last week, so I see a new one. So basically, you get a point for the score, a point for the competition, and a point for the year. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm gonna say. If there's some things,
basically, mate, this is the one where we got shafted because I was given one from 2003 when I was 2, and my 2 teammates weren't born.
Shut your moaning. Stop your moaning. Right, Sonny, are you even there? Well, I suppose Sonny isn't really a great help in the quiz anyway, so we'll crack on and start. This is your first picture. I'm not sure who that player is though.
That's Wolves.
Is that the kit that you've got on, Tom?
Right, okay. Can you take that picture off real quick? It's just so I can show everyone that I am indeed not wearing. I'm wearing the 2017.
Oh no! Right.
When Steven Gerrard had retired from
football.
Well,
I didn't see what kit you was wearing.
Right,
that's the Adidas kit, isn't it?
Is it 2009?
Yes, he had Adidas kicks of the shorts.
Yeah. So what are we naming here? Sorry,
you need the score. No, you need the score, the competition, and the year for 3 points. Maximum 3 points per picture.
Right, it'll be a Premier League game because Wolves were in the Premier League.
Yeah, well, the Premier League badges on that Wolves thing.
There, yeah. We had a good record. Is this? I remember one Wolves game. Was it like there was a Wolves game on Boxing Day? I seem to remember where Gerrard scored a header and Torres scored off a Gerrard assist. And I assume Gerrard's heading the ball there. That's all I've got to go off. 2009, 2-0. Gerrard Torres, Premier League. That's what I'm thinking anyway.
Anyone disagree with that? We'll agree with that.
Well, if that's the game you remember, it's definitely a Gerrard goal, but via the header, you'd imagine. So,
I
Yeah.
think personally that it is from memory 2009 or 10. I don't know which year. 2000
I think
or
it's
9 or 10.
2009. I think it's 2009 because it's the year after we had that lovely grey kit. The lovely grey away kit.
Yeah, and they went to the rounded collar, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. So go 2009 then. I'll take you on that. Gerrard obviously scoring.
do we need both the
A
scorers?
little curveball.
No, you just need ball, not the scorers.
Oh, score. You say 2-0, Tom?
Okay, the result.
I said 2-0.
Result. It's a 2-0, but I know it's a 2-0, but I know who the goal scorers are. It's just come to me. I know who the goal scorers are.
It's Gerrard. I'm not sure if it's Torres or if it's like Ben Ayoun for some. Ben Ayoun seems to remind me then.
It's Ben Ayoun. Is it?
Yossi Ben
Gerrard. It's
Ayoun.
Gerrard and Ben Ayoun.
Right.
The
next picture.
I want a fucking bonus point for Yossi Ben Ayoun.
We've got the scorers here. We've got the scorers.
I've already said to Chelsea boys we weren't doing bonus points because that's far too much effort. Anyway, I don't think anyone's going to get full marks for bonus points anyway. This is picture number 2.
Is that Spurs?
No, it's not Spurs. That is Spurs. That's 2013. That's 2013. 3-2 at Anfield in the Premier League because I remember this game because they show the highlights for it all the time. Stuart Downing scored.
Yeah.
Suarez scored.
Yeah.
Gerrard scored.
Yeah. Gerrard scored. Yeah.
It has to be 2013 because it seems like I seem to think it was the end of the season.
Are you locking that answer in?
Not yet. I need to try and remember what date it was. Like, was it before January? I'm looking at the sky. Yeah, is that a December sky? Because this will have been like a Super Sunday game. That's not a December sky. That's like a March, April. I'm gonna go 2013. 2013. 3-2 in the Premier League.
Is that locked in?
Are we going to lock that in, lads?
What are you saying? That's the start or the end?
I'm saying that's the end of the 2012-13 season.
Okay.
No, I'm going to go.
I think it's 2013.
I definitely think it's a Premier League.
I'm disagreeing. I think that's the start of the next season, Tom.
No, that's not the kit.
No,
that's the 2012-13 kit. Because it had that stupid collar that was horrible. It had that stupid kit, like collar that was horrible to wear.
Yeah.
It was this the season with the black away kit?
It looked good.
This is the season where Suarez got banned for biting.
Yeah, it's the season with the black away kit, isn't it?
It's 100% 2013. Because we played Chelsea a couple of games after this, and Suarez got banned then for biting Ivanovic.
Yeah,
and that was at the end of the season. Yeah, so it must be 2013.
So you're locking that one in, yeah?
Yeah, 2013. Yeah, we are.
Keep us off his line, by the way.
2013.
You were allowed to back then. This is picture number 3.
Oh, I still.
What do we need here? Shut up, Niall. Shut up.
2005, 3-3, Champions League, and to the next one.
Was it 54 from 56?
Tom, obviously, you're going to be very fucking angry at me because that's from 2005, so I apologise for getting something so late for you.
Yeah, but no, you gave me a Merseyside derby during the 4-year period where we didn't lose one, and we had.
How am I meant to know? I'm not a Liverpool fan. I just Google certain years with a team and then take my pick.
Niall, can we not get addition? Can we not get added points for the minute?
No, we're not.
Oh my god, I remember this game. I remember this game because we had 2 goalkeepers sent off. No, we had 1 goalkeeper sent off and the other one booked. Donny started in goal and then got himself sent off. Brad Jones came on, and it was a couple of weeks after his son had died. And then Brad Jones saved the penalty and then gave away one in the second half and didn't save that one. We won 3-2 because Maxi Rodriguez scored the first half brace, and then it was Andy Cowell in the 91st minute. Is it that
was this 2011?
I think it is.
I think my mum and dad took me in the away end at Ewood Park in this game, which is why.
No, I know it, guys.
Is it 2012?
It's 2012. And you guys got the result right.
Is it 11? Is it the 11-12 season?
And
yeah, it's the 11-12 season.
Yeah,
because that's when he signed.
Yeah.
It must be.
Yeah,
it must be 2012.
And you're right. We went.
Yeah, okay.
I think we went down to 10 men on that day as well. I don't know the circumstance, but I think we went down to 10 men.
I remember it because I've seen the highlights of this game. Donny got sent off for fouling. Like Yakubu went through and Donny just brought him down in the box, and he got sent off for it. And Brad Jones came on and saved the penalty and then gave one away in the second half.
It was the back end of the season because this is the game that sent Blackburn into the relegation thing.
Oh, yeah. So it must be 2012 then.
Yeah.
2012.
No,
right.
20.
Just back it.
Yeah, 2012. Yeah.
And what competition?
3-2 Premier League, mate. You can see the bloody logo on the side.
Tom, be careful because I seen what they did in the Chelsea one. They had the Premier League logo as the cup, but this
that was the Arsenal one.
Arsenal one,
where I put sleeves back in there, and don't forget you played the same kits in the cups. I might have chucked one in there already, and you may have not got it. I don't know. You tell me. But this is your last pick.
2013 won Aston Villa in the Premier League because it was that stretch of games where we won them all 1-0 thanks to Daniel Sturridge scoring.
Yeah, and he's gone round the keeper and put it in on his wrong foot, isn't he? When he should have tapped to the right, he's gone with the left.
What season did you say, Tom?
It's the start of the 2013-14 season.
Yeah, I was going to say it's 13-14
September 2013. Yeah. It's September 2013. 1-0 Premier League, locked in, done.
Right.
That's 15 out of 15.
That's 15 out of 15, mate. Just give us it already.
And then we get the bonus point as well.
Hey, you never know. I might have chucked in that little thing I did to the Arsenal boys.
You ain't done that, chap. Just tally it up and give us the bonus point. Let's get this wrapped up.
There are no bonus points for this one.
There needs to be a bonus.
Hey, if the United boys somehow if the United boys somehow get all of them right, you'd be joint top because else it gets confusing. Because if they answer the bonus point right, then I have to then go back to you guys, and it all gets confusing. So you'd be joint top with.
Give us a bonus point, and then if they get 15, because we've got 15 out of 15. It's a matter of fact we've smashed it. So just give us the bonus point. Let us get 16 out of 16, and then you can be nice.
There are no bonus points. It's an executive decision.
You're scared. You're scared. That's what it is.
Why am I scared? I'm the one. I'm the one that is a host.
We don't want to see us Liverpool boys doing well. That's what it is.
Shut up, Thomas. So the first one you said it was Liverpool in the Premier League 2009. Wolves, I mean, and you said that finished 2-0. Now, did I do what I did to the Arsenal boys?
Oh,
we didn't play Wolves in the cup that year. I remember the game.
You got 3 points. Then the second one
you said he's trying to bait you in, mate. Don't fall for it.
Then the Liverpool Tottenham one. You said it was 3-2 in the Premier League. Now the year was the confusing one because you were like, you were like, it's the skies. Like it was that December.
I was analysing the skies. They weren't December skies.
I got it right. I know the game. Just tick it off.
Yeah, you did get that right.
Don't try and bait us in.
Then
lads, don't worry, I've got you. Don't get.
We definitely got the Blackburn wrong.
Then you said AC Milan in the Champions League in 2005. Now I'm not sure if that was correct. Now that was correct.
We got it right.
Blackburn, you said it was 3-2 Premier League 2012.
That's
that is
definitely
correct.
Yeah.
And then the last one you said was Villa, and it was 1-0 in the
Give us a bonus point.
2013. And that is correct. So you've got 15 out of 15.
Give us
So
a
that
bonus
is-
point.
Sorry, Niall. I seem to remember you saying that no one would get 15 out of 15.
Hey, I said it was. I said it was a possibility, but the Chelsea boys did only get 10. So currently, it is Liverpool top of the league with 15 out of 15, and Arsenal second, Chelsea third.
Let me just make it clear to all the viewers. He's got an agenda because he won't give us a bonus point. He'll give you all the answers and then give them the bonus answers. So
I literally gave you AC Milan. If I wanted to be a dick, I wouldn't have included that in there.
Mate, did you not see the form we were on? We were getting anything.
You forget we played AC Milan in 2 finals.
Yeah, you could have played the other one.
Yeah, but I was nice. And do you know what, Tom? If you're not careful, I'm going to pick from 1980 next week. If you're not careful, if Tom keeps up this cheek, I'll be going to 1962 for next week's quiz. If Tom keeps up this cheek. But we have come to the end of the show. RJ saying 2 people versus 1 last week. I have help now. I will top it now.
Mate, you can't,
2 people versus Google last week.
Mate, don't try and act like you didn't Google how you went from Michael Owen to Javier Hernandez like that. You changed all 3 players like that.
Niall, by the way, I want you to listen out for this keyboard sound because he's always clicking his keyboards when the pictures are up and you can hear it. Just listen out.
You physically can't really do it on these pictures. It's why the pictures are so good. But we are going to be doing a all-star quiz coming up soon, probably after the end of the season. Well, I'll get you into teams of 3 in divided clubs, and you all have a quiz on like football. So that'll be an interesting one.
I'm here for it.
We'll see. We'll see that way. That'll be like to top it off. That'll top this season off. I'll calculate whoever's got the most points out of these mini quizzes, then add that quiz, and we'll see. I'll come up with a points tally for the tables later. But we have come to the end of the show. Before we go, make sure that you have liked and subscribed to the stream and the channel with notifications on. Check out our Twitter at Let's Talk EPL. Check us out on Instagram at Let's Talk EPL _. Join our Discord server. Check it out in the description. And also go check out our TikTok at Let's Talk Premier League. Genie, bro, where can they find you?
Just Genie in a bottle. Just Genie in a bottle on Twitter. And that's it.
And the trophy parade this summer. Tiago, where can they find you, mate?
So at Tiago's Father 89 on Twitter and on Instagram as well. Hit me up on there too. You can also find me releasing content via the Red Sea Pod, which is an all Liverpool channel. Got a massive up and coming Twitter following base at the moment. We've gone from essentially 200 followers to nearly 1,300 followers in the space of 3 weeks. So that's ramping it up really, really nicely. My boys to the right of me, Ginny in a bottle and Tom, I'm going to get you boys on as well. You've got some good quality Liverpool knowledge there. So I'm going to bring you boys through. And also, ladies and gentlemen, if you've got a moment, please check out Never a Foul. That's the kind of group which I'm tied with. We've got fan channels for Spurs, Arsenal, City, Chelsea, United, Liverpool. We've got all your top clubs covered and plenty more coming in the future.
Buzzing, make sure you go check out that as well. And Tom, where can they find you apart from on the football terrace?
You can find me at the trophy parade that we're going to have when we win the Grand Quiz. And we are elect champions despite this agenda that Let's Talk Premier League have against Liverpool fans.
And that's it. I'm now going to 1990 for Tom's questions next week.
Do it.
But yes, make sure you go check out all of them.
Give me my excuse on a silver platter, why don't you?
We'll be back in. Well, yeah, that you weren't. What? These pictures are like 80 years before I was even born. Sonny's come right at the end after we finished. Sonny, had to finish shout out before you want to.
Finishing now?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, thanks for your help, Sonny.
You just got maximum points out of the quiz.
Oh, you've done the quiz?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame.
Chuck them back on
Thanks.
for him. He's missed it. Chuck them back on for him. Let's see what
I
he
missed
gets.
the quiz.
Yeah, no, go on,
Oh,
go on.
yeah.
See if
Yeah,
he knows
yeah.
any of them.
Right.
Right, yeah.
Right.
I'm back in a minute, boys.
Oh, look at him. He's bottled it.
picture-
He's bottled it.
Oh, yeah, he has bottled it. He has bottled it. What an ass. What an ass.
Yeah,
Sonny
I'm
has,
taking
you
the
can...
4 points. I'm taking the 15, yeah?
Oh,
You are.
what's that picture? What's that one?
Back in a minute.
For fuck's sake.
Say you what? He's getting
He's-
called a lot here. Why doesn't he just deal with it?
Dom's found a way into his bedroom. That's how. I don't know if Sonny's actually coming back. RJ saying, "Wait, how many did they get? They got 15 out of 15." RJ, so you have to get top marks. And I've been equally as bastardish to you as well. I think, possibly, maybe. You might have a couple of recent ones, but I don't know if you'll get them all. Yeah, you can find Sonny at LFC Sonny and the Liverpool Addiction, spouting some more shit about Real Madrid that he's going to regret saying. That's a fact. And we will always screenshot anyone's tweets to use it against them on our match reactions when they're in the mud. So do be careful what you post. Gini, you don't need to worry. We've already got plenty on you. But you can find me at Nile_PAFC. Go check us all out. All links are in the description. So you have no excuses not to check anyone out. We'll be back in 27 minutes for the United show at 10 p.m. hosted by your man RJ. I will be there. So will Kieran, as will Dom, and so will a new lad who apparently is Ollie out. So I'm ready for a fight. So yeah, we do love to see it. So make sure you check everyone out. We'll be back sooner rather than later. So make sure you liked and subscribed. And until then, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in a bit.